Just a few things, and unfortunately if you were at the council meeting night before last, you heard some of these same topics, but I see a lot of faces here tonight that wasn't there, and I think these are important things to talk about. First two things I want to talk about are both of the big water line projects that have been going on for the last several weeks. The Smith Creek project, which is replacing the water main from the treatment plant all the way down into town. That project is moving right along, on time, on schedule, on budget, and they should be finished with that project sometime by the end of July. The second water line project is the West Ridgeway project. This is the one that's impacted most of the travel and the driveways to Hardee's and the gas station and what have you. They have moved off of Ridgeway Street. They have completed everything they need to do on Ridgeway Street except for the final tie-in tomorrow morning at the bridge, and they're moving up 5th Street. Once they complete the tie-in in the morning, they will come back and remove all of the gravel that they filled the trenches up with and put the base coat in for the asphalt, the underlayment, if you will, for the asphalt. The contract for the West Ridgeway Street paving job that you've been hearing us talk about for the last 2 years has been awarded, and they will completely mill and resurface Ridgeway Street from Roxbury Street to the town limits at the bridge. And that was the importance of getting the water line project off of Ridgeway Street, is so they could start and get that all taken care of at one time. All of that paving, all of that resurfacing is being paid for by a Virginia Department of Transportation State of Good Repair grant that the town was awarded to the tune of $989,000. Won't cost the town, there's no match for that, there's not a dime coming out of the town's pocket except for some new manhole covers and risers as needed to complete the job. We hope to be able to move the pavers right off of Ridgeway Street into the streets in town that have been affected by the gas company. We are finalizing an agreement with them to match their funds with our funds, to be able, instead of them doing a patch job like they've done in the recent years and leaving the road in kind of rough shape, to be able to pave those impacted streets curb to curb and have a nice, smooth, new surface on those. Very much like we did on Vulcan Street last year. Kind of started a new trend, and I think it works out better for everybody else. They're willing to pay what they would normally pay to contribute to that, and we'll match it with our state money to complete that paving also. And while they're here, they will also pave the side streets and Hospital Hill as we know it, or the hill going up to Scott Hill that was impacted by the water line project. So I anticipate the paving crew will be in Clifton Forge for a month to a month and a half paving streets this spring. So hopefully that'll get that taken care of. If you remember back last fall, kind of late in the fall, we started sidewalk repairs in certain areas of town. Of course, winter caught us and we were unable to complete that. We still have that money set aside and in the budget to complete those repairs. As we're getting caught up from our early spring work, we're planning to get Brandon and his crew from Public Works started on sidewalk repair again in the next week or week and a half. And we're going to go through town and inventory all of the sidewalks and get those that need to be repaired, and then we'll come back through with the remaining money that we allocated for that and clean up anything that was marginal that was not on the first round of repairs list. Another project you've heard us talking about forever, Jefferson School project. I don't know how much of this you've been following, but when it came down to time for us to do a title search to be able to sign a performance agreement with the developers for that building, the title company decided, the the title company realized that we did not have a clear title to that property. And it goes all the way back to the consolidation of Clifton Forge and Allegheny County Schools in 1982. Basically, it was a housekeeping problem, but we needed to clean it up to make a clear transfer to the developers. Back in the transition of property should have gone to the city of Clifton Forge once the county stopped using the buildings for schools. And the bottom line is it just got overlooked and nobody went to the county, did the paperwork to transfer the title of the properties to the city of Clifton Forge at that time. We've got that cleaned up now. It was kind of a convoluted process. The newly consolidated Allegheny Highlands Public School System gifted the property to the Allegheny County Board of Supervisors, and the Allegheny County Board of Supervisors then gifted the property back to the town, and council voted unanimously Tuesday night to accept the property back into the ownership by the town. That frees up the way for us to finalize the performance agreement with the Historic Collective Group, get their signatures, our signatures on it, and let them actually get in the building and start their due diligence process and fine-tune what they need to do with that building and move forward with developmental plans to be submitted and for review and community involvement. We'd like to think that that project will be moving along rapidly enough that hopefully by next summer we will be able to have some progress being made on the actual renovations for that building. We will also go back to the school board through the same process to clean up the title to the Clifton Forge High School building, because it is still titled in the City of Clifton Forge School Board, which, as we know, no longer exists. We'll start that process probably after budget season's over, everybody's getting settled into a new year and can start clean with that. Maria couldn't be here with us tonight. She has to be with her family, but she wanted me to let everybody here know, since this group has been so involved in the spearhead for the branding of Clifton Forge project, she has submitted that grant and anticipates hearing from that grant by the end of July, early August at the latest, for the funding for that. I mentioned the budget. The budget is complete and ready. Council's had access to it since the 22nd day of April. There are copies at Town Hall for anybody who's interested in getting a copy now. It will be published in the paper later this month, and the public hearing and first reading publicly of the budget will be at the Town Council meeting on June 10th at 7 o'clock. I hope everybody's noticed that the hanging baskets have been placed throughout town. They look really nice this year. We usually have to water them pretty heavily when we put them first out. It has not been a problem. So they're looking pretty good, and we'll stay on top of that to keep them looking nice throughout the year. And all in all, I think the downtown area is looking clean and kept pretty well right now. So we're going to keep working on top of that. And then the last thing that I have tonight is we've been talking about downtown revitalization and the possibility of helping store owners and business owners to evaluate the process of getting their upstairs living space renovated and turned back into livable space. We had one business owner reach out to us just last week to let us know that they were ready to commit some of their money to get that started and see where we are in the process of helping them. And Maria and I are going to meet with them next week to discuss that. She's got some very in-depth plans about funding opportunities and studies that she's going to start filling grants out for when she gets back next week. So we hope to see some progress moving along in that area as well. And I said that was the last thing, but it's the water, the rain we've had. Be patient with us, please, because We've had a lot of problems, we've had a lot of overflows, we've had a lot of ditches overflow, a lot of manhole overflows, and we're in a cleanup process now. If you call it in, it might not be immediate response, but it is on the list, and Public Works will get to you. It was quite a bit of rain and quite a bit of water to deal with, and we just ask that everyone be patient with us as we go through the cleanup process.